Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gervail. Here. Commissioner Case.
Yeah.
Commissioner Cochran.
Present.
Commissioner Story. Mayor Massersohn.
Present. Reading approval of minutes.
Item 3 in your packets. Get to it. Meeting minutes from the January 27th regular meeting here. No edits from my side, so if no one else has any edits or anything that needs to be added or changed, I make a motion to approve those as presented.
Commissioner Gervail.
Yes.
Commissioner Case.
Yeah.
Commissioner Cochran.
Yes.
Mayor Massersohn.
Yes. Well, the property report, and I'll tell you what, since you're representing police and fire as well, we'll just go into public safety as well. You're just
I'll
gonna do all
jump
three.
into both of them.
You can jump both if you like.
Okay, that'd be fine. Okay, I have no purchase orders for other properties. No updates at this time, other than we are going to discuss a permanent place for some of our decorations and things. It's that time of the year when we need to put, notice out for bids for our public mowing, for all of our properties here, so. Working out the routine for that, so I make the motion that we put bids out for our mowing.
I'll second.
Commissioner Gervail.
Yes.
Commissioner Case.
Yes.
Commissioner Cochran.
Yes.
Mayor Massersohn.
Yes.
And that's all I have for, the public property, and then moving down to public health and safety. And Brooke, is there getting something? My third is right, or stay away from it. First, we have a purchase order in the amount of $1,860.10 that goes to buy state compressor, and I make a motion that be approved.
I'll second.
Commissioner Gervail.
Yes.
Commissioner Case.
Yes.
Commissioner Cochran.
Yes.
Mayor Massersohn.
Yes.
To Mid-American Fire and Safety, we have $9,444.06. This is, as requested by Commissioner Story, and this is for the hose that we had discussed in the prior meeting. I make a motion that be approved.
Second.
Commissioner Gervail.
Yes.
Commissioner Case.
Yes.
Commissioner Cochran.
Yes.
Mayor Massersohn.
Yes.
And then there's the annual flow testing for the scuba, and this is to Centennial Emergency Solutions. This is in the amount of $2,729.18, and I make a motion that be approved.
Second.
Commissioner Gervail.
Yes.
Commissioner Case.
Yes.
Commissioner Cochran.
Yes.
Mayor Massersohn.
Yes.
And I have, to Leo Elizabeth Company, it's for 3 sets a year, and this is in the amount of $10,006.92, and I make a motion for that to be, approved. That's to replace expired gear.
Second.
Commissioner Gervail.
Yes.
Commissioner Case.
Yes.
Commissioner Cochran.
Yes.
Mayor Massersohn.
Yes.
And, let's see, I have another question. I have one, the ESO for $4,021, and this is for the fire reporting modules and the EMS reporting modules. And I make a motion that be approved.
I'll second.
Commissioner Gervail.
Yes.
Commissioner Case.
Yes.
Commissioner Cochran.
Yes.
Mayor Massersohn.
Yes.
That's all the purchase orders.
One thing, Commissioner Gervail, we had a purchase order in there. You did a purchase order from Commissioner Cochran's slate, the buy That was to the sewer department. The amounts are the same, 186010, but that would have been purchase order 713 ISA compressor.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So,
Okay.
just that way we have clarification in the minutes, and then from my side, on the finance side, one less PO for you to have to worry about, I guess.
Yeah.
That's all I had going.
There you go.
Take that away from me.
Yeah, I was gonna argue with him. All right.
I just didn't want us to do it again, and be like, oh, what happened?
And pay him twice.
And then one thing,
What?
with the emergency, software, the ESO software, I feel like we could probably take the chunk that goes towards EMS out of the ambulance fund and not out of the line item
Okay,
in
there was a
fire.
question about which fund it was going to come out of.
Well,
so
we have software agreements, which is what
Right.
4690 is for,
Mhm.
but I feel like the vast majority can go, I feel like anything related to EMS can go through the ambulance fund as long as there's still money left over,
Okay.
because we bought extraction gear out of it, extrication gear out of it a few months ago. We bought it out of the ambulance fund, so I'm hoping there's still money left over to buy ambulance things out of the ambulance fund.
Okay.
Mhm.
So,
So
but
that
that's,
portion of it,
we should be
okay,
able
I will
to.
pass that along. Okay.
Thank you.
And then, this is from the Denton Police Department, and, to Chief Funkhauser and the Denton City Council. And this is from Officer Michael Kane, and this is in regard to his resignation. I'm writing the form of resign from my position as an investigator with the Southern Illinois Drug Task Force and Denton Police Department effective February 3rd. This decision was not made lightly, as serving with the Benton Police Department and Southern Illinois Drug Task Force has been an honor. However, I have now been given the opportunity to join the Illinois State Police, and after careful consideration, I've decided to take the next step in my career. I am grateful for the experience, training, and camaraderie I have gained here. The support and mentorship that I've received has been invaluable, and I will carry those lessons forward. It would be my request that the city council's approval, to be paid out my remaining benefit time. So regretfully, I, make a motion that we approve the resignation and honor his request.
Second.
Do you need to know the amounts?
If you have the amounts,
Yeah. He has 80.85 hours of sick, 107.64 hours of vacation. So the total check would be, not counting those hours, but just payout, $5,671.66.
and that's all payout based on the agreement with the bargaining unit in the city, so we're following contractual obligations there to make that payout, yes.
Do I need to amend that to include the amount? Do I need to amend it?
No, that's fine, I'll put it in. Commissioner Garvelia,
Yes.
Commissioner Case,
Yes.
Commissioner Cochran.
Yes.
Mayor Messerschmidt.
Yes.
And that's all I have, unless you have something.
Yeah, I was also on to, with Michael Kane's vacancy, I don't have the manpower to replace him on the task force. And they have been paying for his position. What I would like to do to remain members of the Southern Illinois Drug Task Force is to buy in, as some of the other communities in Franklin County have done. That would be $8,000 a year, to ensure that they completed drug investigations in our community. And I plan on maybe taking that out of the opioid fund. to pay
Out of
for
which?
that.
The opioid fund, okay, do we
Yeah.
need that on the agenda to?
Well, we have something on the agenda as far as approval of membership with the Southern Illinois Drug Task Force. So, do we need any type of document to approve from them?
I got an invoice from them on what the cost would be, and that's really about it.
I mean, we have it on the agenda, so it can be an actionable item, and given that, clearly the work that whomever we put, since we'll be paying that membership, they're gonna be doing the work in the community, and we've had these
And
conversations at this table.
that's complex drug cases we don't have the manpower
Right.
to do, so, it is pretty important that we maintain that relationship with the task force.
So, what I'll do, I'll make a motion that we approve membership with the Southern Illinois Drug Task Force for the amount of $8,000 to be paid out of the opioid fund.
Which that addresses item C then.
Yeah, and we had it on the agenda.
Yeah, we had it on the
can-
agenda, so
can take
we're a
action
good
on
place
it.
to do that, yeah.
So just
Yeah.
get the
It was
invoice.
good that those two were laid there together.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes,
Commissioner Case?
Yes.
Commissioner Cochran?
Yes.
Mayor Messersohn?
Yes,
that's all I have.
excellent. Council and Finance?
Yay. One payroll run. Totaling $101,179.49 with $75,434.43 out of the general fund and $25,745.06 out of the revenue fund, and make a motion to approve that as presented.
Second.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes,
Commissioner Case?
Yep.
Commissioner Cochran?
Yes.
Mayor Messersohn?
Yes.
Item B, bills. I feel through the ledger. We have bill total of $299,604.87 with just a couple of small breakdowns. 3,000 of that is from the downtown TIF and $14,528.20 is from the IJRL TIF. One thing that I'm gonna say before I make this motion to pay the bills, we have got to get better about turning invoices in. We had gone a pretty decent while with promptness in turning them in. Luckily, the vendor we do a lot of business with, and they know that they're gonna get paid, but getting a bill turned in, that was from May. In February of '25, that's embarrassing, we're better than that. So, with my small rant, I make a motion to approve the bills as presented.
I second it.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes,
Commissioner Case?
Yes.
Commissioner Cochran?
Yes.
Mayor Messersohn?
Yes.
Items C and D, I wanna table so I wanna make a motion to table item C. The discussion and approval of setting restricted funds.
Commissioner Garvelia?
yes,
Commissioner Case?
Yes.
Commissioner Cochran?
Yes.
Mayor Messersohn?
Yes.
Would also like to make a motion to approve item D, the discussion and approval of AECI infrastructure payment resolution.
To approve it or to table it?
Table.
Table it.
second it.
Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes,
Commissioner Case?
Yes.
Commissioner Cochran?
Yes.
Mayor Messersohn?
Yes.
Item E. It's that ugly time of year again where we talk about water rates and sewer rates and all that fun stuff. In front of you, you have a chart. The trash rate is going to increase based on the resolution we passed a couple of years ago after this council was seated, based on the agreement we have with Republic Services, because they are increasing, so we increase in tandem with them. But our water rate came in lower from Intercity Water. But with their rates not going up doesn't mean that our expenses still don't go up. We still have to maintain and work on our maintenance system and, pay our people. So I'm wide open for discussion. I think it needs to be discussed. We can table this item as well if you want to come back and visit it later. I just wanted to give the water department plenty of time to get it implemented. They move quickly, but giving them enough time to move is always appreciated. I don't wanna raise rates ever. I think taxation is theft. But we also have to keep our infrastructure system in play, and we know that it's a failing, aging infrastructure system. I outlined rate increases anywhere from 0, and the only thing that would increase in that is trash, or all the way to 5%. I've highlighted the 2% range, which I think is adequate. My hope, as long as I'm on the council, if we can get our infrastructure system situated and taken care of, that when Intercity Water comes back to raising rates, we can just eat it. But that fund is not in a position to do so, given the fact that we had to vote to unrestrict funds a couple of months ago in order for that fund to pay its bills. So I'm wide open to discussion. Like I said, I don't wanna have to raise it, but this also runs in tandem where we have modified the bill to end in a 0 or a 5 to not have as much change issues in the water department. What do you guys think? I mean,
your recommendation at this point, you highlighted 2%, is that what is that your recommendation at this
Yeah, I
point?
mean, it stays in line with the inflationary rate. Again, costs are gonna go up. I mean, I think costs have stabilized in the supply side, but we still have labor. And labor costs are gonna continue to go up, insurance costs continue to go up, fuel. Without completely cracking our consumer, because, I mean, if you guys would peel through the ledger, you'll see that delinquency fees also continue to go up, which means people are being late on their bill more regularly. We don't have to raise it. We don't have to raise it, but I can tell you right now from the finance side, I will not be a yes vote to unrestrict any more funds going forward. We have a two-pronged approach to fixing most financial issues when it comes to government funds. You can cut spending or you can increase revenues, and you increase revenues with fees and taxes. You can't fix it all on one side or the other. My hope is after this year that we can actually stabilize, and if intercity water comes to us and says, hey, we're not raising rates again, then we can just hands off and not touch it, because we will have more repair in our system. But like I said, if it's zero, it's zero. You're not gonna hear an argument from me. If it's more than that, you're probably not gonna hear an argument from me either until we get to 4 or 5%. So, I mean, that's why I gave the chart. I wanted it to be wide open in the discussion. I wanted to kick it back and forth. And again, we can just take no action on it. We can table it until next time if we wanna come back and reevaluate it. It's entirely up to the council.
So, this is just my opinion, and Commissioner, you can share in. I feel like we have a new strategy we've not had before to address some issues that we've had in balancing our water bills. There's a part of me that would like to see what that looks like. And I don't know that 2 weeks is enough time to do that, but maybe it'll give us some indication of what that looks like. Because we could be grossly inverse.
Good.
It could be in there, it could be in citizens' favor, maybe not in the cities, and then also I hopefully have some resolution with the Conservancy District in regards to our water bills compared to what they're saying ours should be. So there's a part of me that goes, I don't know that I feel like I have enough information to make that educated decision yet. That's just me. Now, you may think differently, but that's just my opinion.
We had a meeting today with our water superintendent, and we've got a plan to try to alleviate some of what's going on. We're gonna try some things, and I agree, we need to wait a little while till we see how that works out, but we are trying to address it.
And that's fine, and the nice thing is, these rates would not go into effect for a couple of months if we voted on them. But the nice thing is, that also means we have time as well. So, because I think these would be effective for that June bill, I think that's what I had heard last week. I wanted you guys to see the rates firsthand. We needed to have it on the agenda as an action item. I am totally fine with tabling this for a future meeting.
Could we,
And we can revisit it in the second meeting in March if we want to.
there we
So
go,
late
thank you.
March.
That's what I'd really like to
We
do,
can
so.
come back to it,
We need about a month or
That's-
6 weeks.
allow the data to actually show us one thing or
So
the
let's
other.
kind of keep
I-
in
no,
mind.
I think that's completely fair.
Okay.
That's the nice thing, you guys everyone will have a chart of what the proposed is, and the table will break down whether we go from 0 to 5%. So let's table it, and we'll come back to it in March, and hopefully we have some more data to say what we need to do. Because it could be a situation where it is worse than we thought, and it might need to be more. Let's hope to God that's not the
We
case.
gotta get some things
Or
changed.
we get all the leaks fixed on East Main, or like, it'd be interesting to see, give it a month or two, I know I'm dreaming.
Well, we've got some bigger meters that's not reading right. We're getting ready to take care of
Yeah,
those.
so I'm just wondering, like, I'd really like to see that average out and see what that average looks like. So if we can wait till second meeting
I
in
think that's
March,
fair.
then I think we'll have a really good idea. But this is great, if we've got enough time to plan for it.
That's fine, you're not gonna hear an argument out of me.
I'll second his motion table.
Okay. Commissioner Garvelia?
Yes.
Commissioner Case?
Yes.
Commissioner Conrad?
Yes.
Mayor Massersohn?
Yes.
And just a couple of quick updates. The TIF there was a TIF payment in the infogram. We talked about it in bills. It goes to BCHS as part of their TIF agreement. I talked to Mr. Johnson this morning. They're always excited when they get money like we are. And then the one last thing I had last Thursday, we had a meeting with the Public Works negotiating team. Had some really positive things to come out of it. It was a rather lengthy meeting, but I think that we are fairly close to reaching a tentative agreement with Public Works,
Good.
which is fantastic.
And if things come through like I've been originally told, that's a very exciting, probably one of our better contracts we've had.
Yeah, and it's, again, it's fair to everybody, like, and the best part is, I mean, from the city side, I don't feel like we, you know, I feel like I think everybody has been in pretty good faith in all of that, but
Good.
that's the best thing, like, we wanna take care of our employees as well. But yeah, it was positive. I wasn't happy about being jet lagged and having to be here for 2.5 hours, but
You survived.
I survived, so aside from that, that's all I've got.
Okay, good. Our city attorney is out this evening, so no updates from him. Public affairs updates, nothing really earth shattering other than, you know, we've discussed at length, kind of ad nauseum. I try to get the council up to date on what's going on with South Main. City Hall, we do have an appraisal in, and that number will be available to the council as requested. We have been given permission to permanently move into this space, and we're waiting on intergovernmental agreement that we will receive from the county, that we will sign, and we're gonna start adding walls and finishing space. We do have keys to all these offices now, so that we can finally define the space as ours. And we are still waiting on the feasibility study that we hope to have the second meeting in February. They had some sickness like we've had here, so they've been limited in their time of being able to get some stuff done. No purchase orders, and then item C says discussion approval of the application to use Capitol Park. One of the things we put in place is just for us to know what's going on, and that way the council knows what's going on. Brian had put together this application that was actually for the reality show when it came to town. But it became a nice application for us to get an idea of what's going on in Capitol Park, not that just things are coming and going, but it includes the council's involvement, at least acknowledgement. And this came from Brandon Overton, who is heavily involved in our community. They're wanting to do a memorial event for Bill. And you kind of see a little bit of the date there. It's a very understated. There's really no need from any of us in regards to the city. And it's not coming up until May, but they did want to go ahead and get this in front of the council for discussion and approval. So you kind of see the details there in front of you, which again are very minimal, but just wanted you to be aware of it and get some approval if possible.
So they're not gonna use any police?
No.
Clean up?
Yeah, it'll all be on them. You see it's from 12 to 4. It does say that there will be some food trucks there, so the only thing that we may have is we might get a few extra trash cans from Republic Services. But the alleys will be closed down, streets will be closed down, no need for police presence. We'll make sure that the bathrooms are open by then, it's May, so things should be in good working order by then from a public property standpoint. So it's not heavily involved, any heavily involvement from the city.
No, and the best part about that is it actually has an indemnity too, so if there's any accident or anything like that, the city, that's kind of why we came up with that.
Yeah.
Make a motion to approve that.
A second,
Commissioner Garavilla,
yes.
Commissioner Case?
Yes.
Commissioner Cochran?
Yes.
Mayor Moser?
Yes. Item 9D, Mr. Calcaterra is looking for a special use. I'll turn that over to him.
Yeah, so, in the R2 zoning district, it does allow for what's termed as 2-family residential units, but they're duplexes. They're allowed by special use permit only. And so we've got a potential developer who, Jason Drew, who is, purchased the property that, is known as Lincoln School property for people who went there. And he's proposed 12 separate, duplexes on the property. And I've gone over the property for any other kind of zoning issues as far as setback lines and, minimum square footage and things like that, and there are no issues there as far as the development is concerned, but he does have to get the special use permit to be able to build those. And so we had a meeting with the Zoning and Planning Commission last Wednesday, and he was able to present, he and I presented the potential development to the council. They voted unanimously, as you can see there, to do their recommendation. There was one member of the public there who had some concerns with the development, and her concerns were mainly just the number of units. But she also did not say she was staunchly against the development. She just kind of asked, like, what should I tell the neighbors, you know, as far as positives for the development, and so, obviously, one of the positives is the fact that the city of Benton needs affordable housing that is good housing and is in good shape. These would be brand new. You can see by the pictures that I provided there too, that these are, gonna be nice duplexes. I believe the price point is somewhere around $900 per month per unit. And so I was,
So they're gonna lease all, they're not gonna
yeah,
sell.
they would not be selling them.
It'd be rentals.
It'd be strictly rental property.
His plan is to start with 2, maybe build others.
Start with 2 and build about every 3 or 4 months, he said, a new duplex. And so it wouldn't be overnight that, these would just pop up. And, so I also was of the opinion that the, zoning and planning commission is correct, and I would give my recommendation for the development as well. And he also knows too that this is just an approval of the plan that he has provided for the city. And so if there were ever a case where he wanted to add more, he would have to reapply for another special use permit, for any further development.
So we need a motion.
We just need a motion,
Make a motion.
or discussion, if there's any questions from the council first, yeah, but yeah. So this-
How many are we approving?
There would be 12 duplexes,
So
in total,
24
so
new rental,
24 rental.
single-family residences,
Nice
basically.
place.
And he would start, like,
Yeah.
weather breaks, ground break,
Basically when the weather breaks.
When the weather
like,
breaks.
We get good weather, and
and you said the 2 or 3 every 3 to 4 months, so we're talking a year and a half,
it's
18
probably
months.
at least a year before it's complete.
Built out.
And Jason is also, a landlord that, as far as zoning and code enforcement goes, we don't have any problems with. He doesn't have any nuisance yards, any nuisance properties. So that's another thing that went into the deciding factor for me too, is that he's typically a really good landlord, so.
Cool. Yeah. Council? Or you made a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll say.
Easy enough.
Commissioner Garvelia,
Yes.
Commissioner Case.
Yes.
Commissioner Cochran.
Yes.
Mayor Masser Smith.
Yes. That's all under public affairs. Any miscellaneous from the council? Any old business? Any new business from the council? Any matters from our public? We don't want to hear that later. And for that, we just need a motion to adjourn. There it is.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Yes.